The very first thing I saw after crash landing on the lush green planet of Virellia was a pair of legs, very long, very toned, very not human legs towering over me like two sexy redwood trees carved by a sculptor who kept getting distracted by his own work. And then I looked up and up and then up again. Two giant alien women, each at least 3 times my height, leaned over me with pointed ears, gravity-defying armor, and the kind of faces that made me grateful. My helmet hid 90% of my panic and 100% of my jaw hitting the ground. One of them had blazing red hair, flowing like a solar flare, and a smirk that suggested she was already planning to do something dangerously mischievous. The other had hair, the color of sunlight itself, and an expression that said, "Oh stars, is this tiny creature seriously alive?" Not my most dignified landing. I pushed myself up, trying to look heroic, but my helmet had a smudge right across the faceplate, so I probably looked like a confused vacuum cleaner that had just been kicked. "Is it sentient?" the red-haired one asked in a voice that vibrated through the air and my ribcage simultaneously. "I think so," the blonde answered. "It's moving. Poor little thing looks terrified." Little thing. Great. I'd been on this planet for 12 seconds, and I was already a pocket-sized emotional support animal. I cleared my throat. Well, more like croaked. "I come in peace. Please, do not squish me. Or, pick me up." Or, the redhead immediately picked me up. One giant hand wrapped around my torso, like I was a plush toy one at a carnival game. My dignity died instantly. "He squeaks," she declared delightedly, as my suit's compression system let out a helpless wheeze. "I do not squeak," I protested, which only made me squeak again. Both giant women exchanged looks, the kind people exchange when they've just found a stray cat they are 100% going to adopt, whether the cat likes it or not. "I am Serapha," the redhead said, "warrior of the Ember Guard, hunter of sky beasts, breaker of she winked. Hearts. My suit heated internally. "Great." Blushing in full environmental armor. "Very impressive." The blonde stepped forward with more grace than anyone that tall should have. "And I am Lyrial, of the Dawn Crest, High Seer of the Whispering Veil, a religious leader and a warrior." Fantastic. I had landed between a sexy cathedral and a sexy armory. "And you, tiny traveler, who are you?" she asked Emmy. I tried to stand straighter in Serapha's hand, which only made her grip tighten protectively. "I'm Kael, just an explorer, a peaceful one. My ship may have spontaneously explored the side of a mountain." Serapha laughed a deep, melodic laugh that made a few trees reconsider their life choices. "He speaks boldly for a creature that fits in my palm." "I am not that small," I protested. "You are extremely that small," Lyrial said gently. Serapha set me down on a mossy rock, but crouched so close her face filled my entire field of view. "Tell me, Kael, what brings a little human to seeking glory, adventure, a mate?" I choked. "A mate? I just got here." "Calm yourself," Lyrial said, patting me on the back with one finger so large it nearly knocked me over. "Serapha is teasing." Serapha was very much not teasing. Her smirk said she had many non-teasing thoughts. I tried to salvage the situation. "I'm simply exploring, documenting alien cultures, not mating with them." "Shame, Serapha," murmured. My suit heated again. Suddenly, Lyrial leaned in, her golden hair cascading around me like warm sunlight. "You must be tired from your crash. Komar village is nearby. We will not harm you." I nodded, mostly because Serapha picked me up again before I could decide whether I was walking or being carried. The alien village appeared between carved stone cliffs and lush tropical forest floating pagodas, glowing lanterns, waterfalls shaped like ribbons. It was beautiful, mystical, and full of many more giant alien women watching me with curious expressions that screamed a mixture of "oh cute" and "what could I do with him?" Some whispered, some giggled. One asked loudly, "Can we keep him?" Lyrial answered, "No." Serapha answered, "Maybe." Wonderful. My fate was now in the hands of 2 flirtatious skyscraper women who disagreed on everything except the fact that I was adorable as they carried me deeper into the village. Serapha suddenly asked, "Kael, does your species have any special abilities?" Resilience, creativity, opposable thumbs." Serapha smirked. "Useful for climbing." Lyrial elbowed her lightly, muttering, "Behave." "I am behaving," Serapha insisted. "I haven't even tried to steal him yet." "You are not stealing anyone," I said. "Try." I groaned. "Is this normal? Do all Virelian women talk like this?" "Only the fun ones," Serapha replied. "And the rest?" I asked. Lyrial smiled sweetly. "We talk worse." My helmet's cooling system activated. Loudly, Serapha's smirk grew. "We'll take him to the Shrine of Echoes. Elders should look at him before I claim him for training." "Training," I repeated nervously. "Yes," Serapha said. "Training, fighting, running, agility drills." She leaned closer, voice dropping to a low purr. "And maybe some cultural exchange." Lyrial sighed. "Control yourself. You can't stop me from appreciating his proportions." "I can hear you both," I yelled. They both smiled innocently, which somehow made it worse. We arrived at a carved archway glowing with ancient runes. A soft wind passed through it, humming with energy. This is the shrine, Lyrial said. Kael, stand in the center. Let the echo judge you. I stepped inside. The runes flared. A booming voice filled the air. This one is. Small Serapha burst out laughing. Lyrial attempted dignity. Failed. I threw my hands up. Gee, thanks. Anything else? The voice rumbled. SMALL. But chaotic. Serapha crossed her arms. I like him more now. The voice continued. Destiny follows him. Both women went silent. Then the final echo vibrated through the valley. And the craziest ones will want him. I blinked. The craziest what? Lyrial swallowed. Serapha smirked. Oh Kael, she murmured with predatory delight. You have no idea what that means. I definitely didn't. But judging by her expression, I was about to find out. The moment the echo declared that the craziest ones will want him, Serapha practically glowed with pride. Like the ancient shrine had just personally approved her questionable life choices. However, looked as if someone had assigned her to babysit a grenade with legs. Serapha, Lyrial warned, holding up a hand, this does not give you permission to too late. I already decided I'm responsible for him. I pointed at myself. Responsible? For me? No offense, but I don't need a babysitter. Serapha leaned close enough that I could see the reflection of my helmet visor in her pupils. You crash-landed into a tree, fainted twice, squeaked 3 times, and introduced yourself by begging not to be squished. I folded my arms. All right, 1 exaggerations. 2 time doing much better now. 3 those were heroic tactical squeaks. Lyrial gently lifted me off the shrine pedestal as if I were a fragile piece of fancy pottery that occasionally said dumb things. Come Kael, we must bring you to the council. They must decide how to announce your presence to the tribe. Serapha walked beside her, still smirking. We could announce him as my personal companion. My tiny, brave, surprisingly bendy little stop. Lyrial shot her a glare. Now Serapha held up her hands. I said nothing. Yet, the path back to the village wound between cliffs covered in glowing vines and carved statues depicting past Virelian heroes. Each one twice the size of the women I'd already met, which meant they were approximately 15 times more intimidating than me. At the bottom of one statue, a carved inscription read, "She who kicks mountains out of the way." I cleared my throat. So your heroes can kick mountains? Serapha shrugged. Small ones. Define small. Ones only slightly bigger than you. Right, I muttered. Totally comforting. As we entered the main village clearing, more eyes turned toward, medicines of tall, muscular, elegant alien women pausing mid-activity to stare at the tiny armored tourist in Lyrial's palm. One whispered, "It's adorable." Another whispered, "It's squishy." Serapha cupped her hands around her mouth and yelled, "He is not squishy. He is slender and nimble." Why are those the qualities you chose? I muttered. Lyrial placed her hands on her hips. Please do not shout about Kael's attributes in public. Serapha shrugged. Why not? Because he can hear you, Lyrial hissed. I want him to hear me. Serapha, they kept arguing over me as if I were a new kitchen appliance, both desperately wanted to claim. Finally, they reached a set of grand doors, carved into the mountainside. The council chamber. Lyrial set me down on a small stone platform near her feet, one clearly meant for offerings. Ceremonial items, or possibly small animals. Not ideal. Inside, 7 towering elders sat in a semicircle. Each looked more imposing than the last. Their armor was ornate, their eyes glowed faintly, and their expressions were somewhere between interesting and should we roast it. Lyrial bowed, Serapha bowed. I attempted to bow but nearly tipped over and had to grab my own knees to avoid. Face planting. The tallest elder leaned forward. What is this creature? I raised a hand. Hi, still sentient? Lyrial cleared her throat. This is Kael, a human from beyond our star system. He crash-landed in the northern ravines. Another elder asked, is he dangerous? Serapha answered instantly, yes, in the most entertaining way. I spun around. How? I haven't done anything dangerous. Serapha shrugged. You exist in a way that feels like trouble waiting to happen. One of the elders chuckled. He has the aura of a small but determined animal. Thank you, I said, not entirely sure if I had just been complimented or diagnosed. The center elder's eyes narrowed. Does the echo speak true? That destiny follows him. Yes, Lyrial said solemnly. The shrine rarely uses such phrasing. Serapha chimed in. It said the craziest ones will want him, which I assume includes me. Serapha, Lyrial groaned, massaging her temples. Please, for the love of the Suncrest, stop flirting during council proceedings. I'm not flirting, Serapha said. I'm stating future historical fact. An elder raised a brow ridge. Flirting is forbidden in the council hall. Serapha blinked. What? That's ridiculous. How does anything get decided here? The elder glared, with logic, tradition, and dignity. That sounds boring, Serapha said. I coughed politely. Ahem, if I may. I don't want to cause any trouble. I'm just here by accident. If you help me repair my ship, I'll be out of your Harris pointy ears. The elders whispered among themselves. Then the middle one spoke. Human Kael, you may remain with us until repairs are possible. But beware, your presence may attract attention. Unpredictable attention. Serapha stepped forward eagerly. I volunteered to guard him. Lyrial stepped forward instantly. I volunteered to guide him. They turned and glared at each other. Guard, guide. Guard, guide. The elders sighed in unison, the universal sound of not this again. Finally, the head elder stood. Enough, Kael shall be under the joint stewardship of Serapha and Lyrial. Both women froze. Then, what? They shouted together. The head elder smiled knowingly. Yes, together. Serapha pointed at Lyrial. She's too gentle. Lyrial pointed at Serapha. She's too violent. I pointed at both of them. I am too confused. But the elders had already decided. Destiny, apparently, was not up for negotiation. As we left the chamber, Serapha leaned down until her face was inches from my visor. This means you're with me for training. Lyrial leaned in on the other side, and with me for spiritual attunement and emotional grounding. I feel extremely grounded right now, I said weakly. Serapha grabbed me again and tossed me into the air before catching me easily. Good, you'll need that. Tomorrow, we begin survival drills. Lyrial snatched me away mid-toss, holding me gently to her chest. No. Tomorrow he rests and learns our language and our customs. Serapha crossed her arms. He learns better through action. Lyrial lifted her chin. He learns better through peace. I pointed between the two of them. Should I be worried that your arguments always involve me? Yes, they both said in perfect synchrony. Then they glared at each other again. Before I could protest further, a shrill horn echoed across the village, deep, resonant, ominous. Villagers gasped. Serapha stiffened. Lyrial's eyes widened. What's that? I asked. Lyrial whispered. The call of the Veilborn. Who are the Veilborn? I asked. Serapha smirked wickedly. The craziest ones. I felt a chill run down my spine. Because somewhere in the forest, something big, something wild, and something very, very interested in me, had just heard I was here. The horn blast echoed across the valley again, long, low, and definitely not on my list of sounds that mean everything will be fine. Serapha and Lyrial exchanged a look that said, oh no, then looked at me with an expression that said, and he's definitely involved in this. Okay, I said slowly, what exactly are the Veilborn, and why do they seem very interested in me? Lyrial held me a little tighter, her brows knitted. Veilborn are unusual, Serapha snorted. That's a nice way of saying they're chaos incarnate. Serapha, be respectful. Oh come on, they live in the mists, eat hallucinating tree sap, and think dreams are suggestions. Half of them sleep upside down. One tried to marry a storm last year. I blinked. A storm. A small storm, Serapha clarified, as if that somehow made the sentence sane. Lyrial lowered her voice. They are passionate, impulsive, and take destiny very seriously. If they believe the echo marked you, Serapha finished the sentence with a predatory grin. They'll come looking. Great, just great. First day on the planet, and I'd already been placed on the universe's most dangerous dating app. The horn sounded again. Closer now. Leaves rustled. Branches shook. The ground vibrated slightly. Lyrial immediately turned, holding me protectively against her chest like a living plush toy with unlucky timing. We must get him somewhere safe. Serapha cracked her knuckles. Or let them come. I'll fight them for him. No fighting. Lyrial snapped. Fine, then I'll negotiate aggressively. Serapha, she shrugged innocently. Suddenly, three shapes emerged from the mist at the edge of the clearing. Tall, lithe, and dazzlingly strange. Their skins shimmered like moonlight. Their eyes glowed faint blue. Their hair flowed as if underwater, defying gravity and logic simultaneously. All three stared at me. All three smiled. Oh, no. The tallest, the one with pale violet hair floating around her like lazy serpents, stepped forward. Her voice was soft, musical, and absolutely full of trouble. We sensed the echo. The tiny Starwalker has arrived. I pointed at myself. I'm more of a faller. Serapha snorted violently. The violet-haired woman continued. We felt destiny tug at our dreams. We came to see the one the shrine spoke of. She leaned close, peering into my visor. Her breath fogged the glass despite being 10 feet away. Such a tiny thing. But destiny often comes in unexpected packages. Serapha stepped between us, scowling. Back off. Mirage, the Veilborn woman smiled. Still territorial, so how predictable. Always guarding shiny things. You want to fight? No, Mirage purred. I want him. Over my dead body, Serapha growled. That can be arranged. Lyrial shoved both women apart with a flash of temple priestess authority. None of you are laying claim to him. Kael is under council protection. Mirage tilted her head at me, ignoring Lyrial completely. Do you wish to be protected, little wanderer? You well-defined protected. Mirage smiled wider. Wrapped in warm illusions, soothed by dreams, tempted by visions your mind has never dared entertain. My suit startled itself into maximum cooling mode. Serapha grabbed me back. Holding me like a football she fully intended to spike. No illusions. He's mine. Serapha, Lyrial practically shrieked. Stop claiming him like a lost sandal. Serapha blinked. You've never seen a sandal this interesting. The two aliens and the priestess continued, arguing while Mirage and her companions circled us, humming some kind of harmonic, ethereal sound that made the air vibrate. Mirage stopped in front of me again, eyes glowing brighter. Little star. The echo has tied threads around your destiny, and around ours we seek connection. See, Serapha barked. This is what they do. They talk pretty until you're wrapped in their magic fog and wake up 3 days later, in a tree wearing someone else's ceremonial leaf skirt. Lyrial pinched the bridge of her nose. It was one time Serapha. I was there 2 times. Mirage flicked her hand dismissively. Drama, you both exaggerate. You tied me to a tree, Serapha yelled. It was symbolic. You drew runes on my forehead. They were motivational. They said, sleepy idiot. That is not motivational. Semantics. Lyrial finally spoke up. Mirage, you and your sisters must leave at once. The human is overwhelmed. Mirage tilted her head. He doesn't look overwhelmed. At that exact moment, I tried to step backward and tripped over absolutely nothing, falling onto my back with a loud metallic clatter. Lyrial pointed at me. He is very overwhelmed. Serapha scooped me up before Mirage could blink. Time to go. Dream Snake. He's under. Oh, you are. Watch. Mirage's smile turned sharper. For now. Then she and her 2 companions dissolved into mist, literally like smoke swirling away on a breeze. My heart rate refused to slow. So, that was the Lyrial sighed deeply. Yes, and this is concerning. If they're already coming to you, it means they've been dreaming about you for days. Dreaming about me? Why, Serapha smirked. Obviously, they've heard I like him. You think everything is about you. Lyrial snapped. Serapha shrugged. I am extremely interesting. I groaned, covering my visor with my hands. Can someone please explain why everyone suddenly wants me? I'm not powerful. I don't have magic. My biggest achievement is not screaming during turbulence. Lyrial knelt beside me, her face soft. It is not about power. Kael, the echo recognized something in you. Something fate twined. Serapha poked my helmet. Maybe destiny likes squeaky things. I do not squeak. The forest rustled again, this time from a different direction. Lyrial's ears twitched. Serapha's posture snapped into combat readiness. What now? I whispered. Lyrial swallowed. If the Veilborn heard the echo, then others may have as well. Serapha's grin spread slow and wide. Good. Let them come. I do not want them to come. I hissed. Both women ignored me in perfect harmony. Somewhere beyond the trees, heavy footsteps echoed. Then, another set, then a third, followed by an uncomfortably loud screech. Lyrial whispered, "Oh no." Serapha whispered back, "Oh yes." I whispered, "Oh stop." The footsteps drew closer. Branches snapped. The ground trembled. Serapha lifted me into both hands, eyes blazing with excitement. Kael, tiny trouble magnet. Destiny is just getting warmed up. The forest line split open, and 3 giant silhouettes stepped into view, each larger and meaner looking than the last. Great. More aliens, more interest, more towering women who apparently had opinions about me. Okay, I whispered miserably. Is there anyone on this planet who isn't attracted to tiny humans? Serapha smiled like a predator who had just been handed a dessert menu. Not anymore. The 3 silhouettes emerging from the jungle were definitely not the friendly kind. They were towering, muscular, and built like someone had sculpted them out of anger and boulders. Their armor was heavy, their expressions serious, and one of them carried a weapon so large it could have been used as a bridge. Serapha's grin widened. Aha, the Ironbound sisters. Lyrial groaned. Oh stars, not them. I blinked. Ironbound sisters? Are they dangerous? Serapha patted my helmet. Only if you owe the money do I. Probably, she said cheerfully. The tallest of the newcomers stepped forward. Her voice was deep, sharp, and entirely unimpressed as she eyed me like a creature she was considering using as a bookmark. So, this is the tiny male everyone's screaming about. I raised a hand. Hi, yes, still tiny, still male. The second Ironbound sister sniffed the air. Smells like fear, sweat, and desperation. I pointed accusingly. I am sweating pure confidence. Serapha whispered. Kael, don't lie. They can smell lies. I am not lying. Okay, maybe a little, but only about the sweating. The third sister folded her arms. The echo called him a destiny bear. Lyrial nodded tightly. Yes. The second sister snarled. We want to test him. I squeaked. Inwardly. Externally. It came out as a very dignified Serapha stepped in front of me immediately. No testing. He's mine. Lyrial corrected sharply. He is under both our protection. The tallest sister ignored both of them and lowered her giant face until her nose was 2 inches from my visor. Her breath fogged the front of my helmet so thoroughly that I could no longer see anything except condensation. Remove the faceplate, she demanded. No. Serapha and Lyrial shouted in unison. But why? I added. The sister smirked. To see the true shape of destiny, I am not removing anything, I announced, clutching my helmet like a medieval knight who just found out dragons flirt aggressively. The sister shrugged. Then I will smell fate instead. You will not smell him, Lyrial snapped. You smelled him, the sister retorted. Pointing at Serapha, Serapha puffed her chest proudly. That was reconnaissance. That was flirting, Lyrial muttered. That too. The ironbound sisters stared at each other, then at me, then at each other again. Finally, the tallest one said, "We challenge him," Serapha barked. "No," Lyrial pushed forward, palms up. "Absolutely not." The sister leaned down, eyes narrowing. "We will test his spirit." I shook my head rapidly. "Please don't test my spirit. My spirit is fragile. My spirit bruises easily." Another sister raised a giant fist. "We propose," Serapha growled. Lyrial groaned, and the tallest sister finished a trio a valor. I blinked. "Define valor, courage," she said. "Strength," another added. "Adaptability." The last whispered, "And maybe climbing." The first added, "We like climbing." I pointed at "Did you tell them I'm bendy?" Serapha whistled innocently. "I might have mentioned it." Lyrial grabbed my shoulders protectively. "The council has not approved ANY trial. He is not a warrior." The tallest ironbound sister shrugged. "Then he will fail, and destiny will move on." Serapha snapped, "He won't fail." I looked up at her. "I might fail." Serapha shook her head. "No, Kael, you won't. You're tiny, but you're scrappy. And loud," Lyrial added. "And chaotic," Serapha said proudly, "and extremely." "Extremely unfortunate," Lyrial finished. "Hey," I protested. Serapha cupped my faceplate gently. "Kael, listen. This," she pointed at the ironbound sisters, "is nothing. You can do this." Lyrial leaned close to, "You don't need strength. You only need wit, and the ability to not get stepped on." "I can try," I said weakly. "That's the spirit," Serapha said with a grin. "And if you fail, don't worry." "That sounds ominous," I said nervously. "I'll fight them myself," Serapha finished proudly. "Oh," I said, "I thought you were going to say something comforting." "That was comforting," she insisted. The ironbound sisters stomped forward and drew a giant circle in the dirt with a massive axe, marking the trial arena. "This," the leader announced, "is where the trial of valor will take place." "Oh," I muttered, "lovely. A circle, my favorite shape. Perfect for running in panicked loops." Lyrial knelt beside me. "Kael, you do not have to prove anything, but if you choose to, we will stand with you. Every step, every moment." Serapha kneels on the other side, smirking with absolute feral confidence. "And if they try anything weird, I'll break their legs." "That is not allowed," Lyrial whispered. "That is implied," Serapha countered. I took a deep breath. I stepped into the circle. Three ironbound sisters straightened, grinned proudly. Lyrial's eyes widened with a mixture of panic and admiration. "All right," I said, trying to sound heroic and not like a man about to be used as a chew toy. "What do I do?" The leader boomed. "Simple. Survive." "Oh good," I muttered. "Surviving is one of my top 2 hobbies. The other is panicking." The entire village suddenly gathered around, murmuring with anticipation. The trees rustled. The Veilborn mist crept back at the edges. Even the shrine runes flickered faintly, as if watching. The ironbound sisters raised their weapons. Serapha's hand twitched. Ready to leap in, Lyrial whispered a prayer behind me. I swallowed hard. "Begin," the sisters roared, and all 3 rushed at me. I would like the record to show that. I did not scream. Externally. Internally, however. Internally, I was singing the entire soundtrack of panic. I rolled, ducked, sprinted, dodged, hopped, crawled, twisted, and executed movements that even my suit didn't know it was designed for. Several warriors in the crowd gasped. One yelled, "Look at him go." Another shouted, "He's faster than a startled forest squirrel." A third shouted, "No he's not, squirrels don't yell that much." I kept running. One sister slammed her huge fist into the ground where I had been a second earlier. Dirt exploded everywhere. I tripped in the shockwave, tucked into a roll, and popped back up. "You cannot hide," the sister roared. "I'm not hiding," I yelled. "I'm problems." Another giant stomped inches from me, and I dodged sideways by pure reflex and regret. Serapha let out a delighted scream. "Kael, that was amazing. Do it again." "I'm not doing anything on purpose." Lyrial was cheering now, too, but in a gentle, priestess-like way that made it sound like she was encouraging a toddler taking his first steps. Finally, after what felt like 14 eternities, the sisters paused, breathing heavily, sweating, confused. The leader pointed a massive finger at me. "Did not die." I did not. I yelled triumphantly, hands on my knees, gasping for oxygen and possibly divine intervention. "You did not surrender." "Nope." "You did not weep." Not out loud. The ironbound sisters looked at each other. Then they raised their weapons in salute. "The trial is past," the leader declared. I fell onto my back in relief. Serapha sprinted over, lifted me into the air, and spun me around like a victorious trophy. "Kael, you beat them." "I did not beat anyone." I wheezed. "I refused to get stepped on." Lyrial rushed in, placing her forehead gently against my helmet, whispering with relief, "You did it. You truly did it." Serapha grinned. "See, told you, he was bendy." I pointed a tired finger at her. "Stop calling me bendy." "Never," she said proudly. The ironbound sisters bowed and left the clearing. Silence settled. Then the entire village erupted into cheers. Serapha kissed my helmet. Lyrial hugged me softly. The Veilborn mist shimmered approvingly at the edges of the forest, and in that moment, dangling between two giant alien women who were now arguing about who got to carry me home first, I realized something uncomfortable and thrilling. I had landed on a planet where everyone was larger, wilder, and way too interested in me. And despite everything, I didn't hate it, not even a little, not even remotely. I was Kael.human.explorer.chaos magnet. And somehow, this absurd, ridiculous, dangerous, flirtatious planet wanted me, and I wasn't going anywhere, not yet, not as long as these giant alien women kept looking at me like I was destiny.